Hi everyone. So today I'm back doing a reading on um, Reza Zarrab, someone I had never heard before until Rachel Maddow's show on Thursday, November the 16th. And he is Turkish, and according to her and several articles I've read online, he had been in custody, in US custody, for a while now because of his ties to money laundering and violating Iranian sanctions, all kinds of complicated crimes and international intrigue. And he is apparently very close to the Turkish president, and the Turkish president had wanted him freed for a long time because he must know a lot of secrets related to to their government. And apparently, Miller believes that he may have something to add to the Flynn investigation since Flynn agreed. I guess he agreed. I don't know exactly what the story is about the kidnapping of a Turkish person here who is a permanent resident of the US. So anyway, so I thought this is interesting because he, he like he this was reported as one of those news that could really impact Flynn and the investigation overall. And since I'm following the investigation very closely, I wanted to find out more. So the question was, what is the role this person is going to play in the Mueller investigation? Okay, because to me that's really the core question. Although it's very clear that he's somebody who could take down Flynn, it's also basically what does he know and what is he doing that could be relevant to this investigation. So if you look at the photo, it's actually one main spread with two levels to the right of extra cards I pulled out because I thought it was going to be a pretty simple spread. And then as I saw the cards, I wanted to find out more about what was going to happen to him and what would happen to the people he exposed once he said all he wanted to say. Because this was one of the readings that I don't think I've ever come across since I've started, that where there were four court cards, male court cards, that I think all stand in for different people. So I thought that was pretty interesting, and so I wanted to find out about the impact of his testimony in the lives of, well, obviously I can't tell what's going to happen to each person, but overall, what would be the impact? So I did this reading. And so let's get started with this first part of the spread, which is the what they call the box spread, 3 by 3. And so here in this sort of spread, we start with the center card, which is the King of Wands, right in the middle, and it has the birds together. So when I saw this card, and in the readings I've been doing with the Mueller investigation people, the kings rarely come upright, and the people I'm seeing here, in a way, they all appear to be very. These are all sort of identifying cards. It might be because I don't know much about this person. I just found out about him a few hours, I guess, not even 12 hours ago. And then, and then, so anyway, so I'm looking at because like I said, I looked at these cards and I thought I can barely recognize them from the people I've read before that are related to the story. And then I thought, obviously, it's Flynn, right? This is the person, the charismatic, dark-haired guy that is the focus of his connection, right? So right at the center, we have him. The birds card is the card that about talking. So he's talking about Flynn. And on top, you have the 10 of Pentacles and the gentleman. And I believe that to be the subject of the reading, Reza, because that just shows him as this rich person, which he is, regardless of whether he got the money in illegal ways. But anyway, so I think that's him on top, and there he is talking, and underneath the birds on the third card at the bottom, the third Lenormand, you have the moon card, which is the reputation card. And the reputation here is the quid pro quo card. So he's going to talk about Michael Flynn's reputation, and the reputation card, the moon card, Lenormand, in many ways is related to not just the reputation, but what you do for work, your identity outside. So he's going to discuss his, I guess, his work, right? How what does he do really? And it's showing that he does a lot of quid pro quo. Okay, the work that he does is, you do X, I'll pay Y for you to do X, and I guess the nature of the quid pro quo. Okay, but if you look on the left, you have the snake card. Okay, so it's the past, and you have the Eight of Wands reversed, which to me indicates that it obviously it could indicate that this person Reza is a snake, but the snake also has the connotation of problems. So there are problems and delays, okay? And what I see here, if you look at the cards that come after, it's pretty interesting that you have the Judgment upside down and the Anchor. To me, that indicates prison, right? Because the Judgment is not favorable, and the Anchor, as I've come to understand lately, it can also mean time, right? It can mean hard time or time. So he's looking at wanting to delay or shorten the amount of prison time he could get. And when you look at the third card, the third tarot card, the Four of Swords, when I did the research for the cards that are related to prison, this one came up too. But it came up as that only, let's say, if the person is in solitary confinement. But I do think it could be an indicator of prison, just because there's all these other cards related to it, and we know that he was in fact in prison. So to me, this whole column speaks very clearly as he saw this opportunity to talk as a means to, in some ways, overturn his situation in prison. And also, you can see here the stork is a perfect card for freedom, right? You taking flight, leaving, moving on to something better. So he saw this. And in a way, if you look at what is a snake, in a way, you could say that a snake is a snitch, right? Is a person who may even work with you, but is talking behind your back. So this situation of becoming a snake would allow him to delay the time or shorten the amount of time that he's spending in prison, okay? And would give him the opportunity to go free or have freedom, right? Because, if I think about it, the stork is probably, when I look at the image of the rainbow and the birds flying, it reminds me of the idea of freedom. So, so that's what's compelling him to do this, okay? And then when we look at the future cards, the last row, I find that super interesting because in a way, I'm thinking when I first saw King of Cups, I thought, okay, well, it has to do with some sort of something emotional. But then I thought, oh no, I only think it's not a queen. It's really the king, and it's this person. And I thought, okay, emotion, because that's cups. Then I thought, oh no, it's all about physical characteristics, and who is a blonde person related to all of this? Trump. So then this became more clear. And if I looked at the very bottom, you have the emperor, which you could think, okay, it's related to Trump. But then I thought, no, I thought this can't be Trump in a way, because I feel like here it could be maybe a relationship to repeating Trump again. But what I really thought was that this could be the president of Turkey, Erdogan. because apparently he's gone to such great lengths to free him. And then the emperor is right next to the ship. I don't know, for some reason I'm really getting this strong feeling that the emperor is the Turkish president, and the blonde guy, the King of Cups, is Trump. Okay, it could also be that um, the emperor could be Trump, but somehow because the heart is also next to it, for some reason I just don't feel that it could. For some reason, I feel like that's the Turkish president. It could also be because it wouldn't change the meaning regardless. Okay, but it's just interesting. So going back here to the King of Cups, so this he has a secret related to this person, King of Cups, and then the secret is somehow related to a foreign power and a burdened foreign power. And we know that apparently Turkey is very concerned about him being in prison because he knows a lot. And I went on his wiki, and I think he's a very one of these very high level wealthy people. And one of his partners was arrested getting out of Iran, I think it was, carrying $150 million cash. So clearly he does some sort of money laundering. Okay. And anyway, so there is a burden about the foreign government. And if you think about a burden on a deeper level, burden is a problem, is an issue you want to get rid of. So if we think about a concern, like a burden of the foreign government, it could be, and I'm thinking, what do I know about Flynn? What's damaging about Flynn? I think about the idea of the kidnapping. Somebody was the cleric they wanted to kidnap and send back to Turkey. That could be an issue because it's right below the secret. So it's telling me something about the secret. And then at the bottom, when you have the heart, that's a very important thing. So, in a way, the secret that this person has related to the foreign power is close to his heart somehow. It's something that he cares about or something that relates to his identity. And then you have that emperor there. That's why I also don't think it's Trump, because the card being there, if the card is there, I don't know that this guy has ever met Trump. I don't think he has. So there's no reason for him to be particularly attached to Trump. This just tells me that I think it's his family. And apparently he's close to Erdogan's family, something like that. I don't really know. But anyway, I just get the feeling that the reason why this guy is kind of a big deal is because something about the secret he knows has to do with Trump. And I immediately got the feeling that there's more there. It's not just about this kidnapping, it's something else. There's much more about Trump. And then I remember reading, and I don't want to get into like I sounding like a conspiracy theorist or anything, but I remember there was a photo I've seen of Trump next to a Turkish guy who was later convicted of trafficking, human trafficking or something like that, about girls or something. I don't remember. I do remember this. It's one of those photos where Ivanka was next to her dad and he was looking at her and the guy was looking at her. It was kind of very creepy, sleazy sort of photo. But I don't know if it has to do with it. There's something about the secret that this person knows that concerns Trump, not just Flynn. Okay, because I thought immediately this guy knows something about Flynn and that's why he's important, but I feel like he knows a lot more that we don't know about. Okay, so that's him. Okay, so in a way, I feel like the fact that there's so many of these court cards indicate to me that he knows a lot, or that he knows a lot that affects these people. So that's why it's a big deal. Okay, so then if I look at the top row, the snaky man secret, right? The snake man knows secrets. That's what he's thinking about, or his importance. And at the bottom, we think it's the things that you can't see, the subconscious. So it's this yearning for freedom, for basically return to his reputation or to what he knows, to his name, his old name, and the heart. So in a way, there's this emotional push towards getting back to his home, probably, right, and to what he knows and how he's known. So these are the different forces that are leading this person to act the way he's acting or speak talking to the government. And it clearly shows that he is talking to the government. So so moving on to these top three set of cards. Okay, we have, so these cards on the top right, I pulled out after I noticed these things about those people involved and what he knows. I thought, okay, what are the consequences? What's going to happen if once he talks about these people? What is the consequence of him talking? What happens after he talks? So I got the Nine of Swords upside down and the dog, and that to me indicates that those people who are loyal to him or his friends or those people involved in the things he knows are not sleeping, are very, very, very stressed. And and then right next to it you have a health god, the tree, which is health and growth basically. And you have underneath the Four of Pentacles, which indicates greed. So you could almost argue that they grew through greedy means, right? They're willing to go so far to accumulate money. So it's basically something probably illegal related to money. Okay. And then even worse for whoever is involved in this is the Justice upside down and Mountain. So you have the card that says probably the dog, the person who's related to him in some way, is going to get the verdict against him. And Mountain, which I thought, okay, so what does mountain mean? Mountain on a basic level means obstacle, but if you revert to the basic meaning of mountain in the sense of endurance, it indicates time and difficulty. So to me, that just says it's the verdict is going to go against them, and they're going to serve time. Why? Because the loyal people grew through some sort of illegal way of holding on to money. Okay, so they are not sleeping well because they probably know what he knows. Okay, so after finding this out, I was like, whoa, I hope he's okay. Is going to stay, is going to be alive, because those, right? I mean, can you imagine if you have all these issues? It's pretty scary to even have the knowledge of things that he has. So then, if I look at the last three cards, you have the Gift, and you have the Two of Cups upside down. Then you have the Sun and the Four of Wands, and the Key and the King of Pentacles. So to me, that indicates that with the background of some sort of business partnership falling apart, he has a gift or an offer. That's what it is. And the offer leads to something really great. I think the Sun here doesn't mean what it has meant in the past, which is bringing light into something that was hidden. Here, I think it does have to mean happiness and family. This is a card of family. So I think he really wants to see his family and be with his family at home. Actually, a card of home. So he wants to go home, I think. And so he gets to do that. So he gets a gift that he gets to go home. And then this is like super interesting, the key card at the end with the King of Pentacles. To me, this, in the context of the question and the reading itself, I think this means he's going to be a key witness. Okay, so then the King of Pentacles, it's because he was always a money person, I think. So he is going to play a big role in something related to money. I just really feel that this key at the very end just to me indicates that he's going to be not just collaborating with the government, but he's going to be a government witness, okay, against this case, because all the cards indicate that he has so much power. This is what I thought it was really interesting, because I looked at him, I was like, well, are you kidding this guy for real? Like, he looks so kind of, I don't know, gnarly, but in a way, I don't know how to explain it. It doesn't seem like, he just looks kind of sleazy in a kind of drug dealerish kind of way, but you never know, right? Yeah, I guess you could never tell from just looking at him. But what I got from the cards, both on the bigger reading and the one on the top right, is that he must have a lot of power, or his knowledge must be very damaging to the people that he knows. because he's going to take a lot of people down from what I'm seeing here, and there's a lot of people involved in the things he knows. So that's what I'm getting. Like I said, he gets to go home in the end. He is going to lose some sort of business partnership, but he gets to go home. He's happy. He becomes a U.S. government witness. Okay, so that's the interesting turn, and that's what seems to be the role of Reza Zarrab in the Mueller investigation. Okay, all right, guys. So thank you for listening. Bye.